My name is Chris. I go by Daily Refinement Online. I am doing a live stream, and I'm just going to wait for the chat to load. When you guys can hear me, I'll get straight into it. This is part one of a 5-part series on sorting stuff online, sourcing online. I'm going to show you guys how I approach looking for items online and in person live. So if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat as I do this. I'm going to go through sort of my topics, and at the end, I'll answer everybody's questions. If you guys are here Monday through Friday this week, it is September 16th. This week, I'm going to do this live for an hour at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time all week. Okay, sounds like we're good to go. Okay, let's get straight into it. If you guys are here, please smash the like button. I'm going to show you guys step by step what I'm going to do personally here. So let's get into it. There are 2 things I want you to work on as you are building your sourcing strategy. So there's 2 parts of reselling, getting the stuff and then selling the stuff. This series is about getting the stuff. There's 2 things. One, I want to consider as your day job. Okay, this is what you're doing to get stuff in live, going to the thrift store, hunting it. Imagine yourself, basically sniping certain items to resell. We're going to do this online. We're also going to do this in person. This is your day job. Now, you need to earn enough money during your day job to work on your business as the business owner. That's more having relationships, replenishables. That's a different game. So this series is about both of those. We're going to be finding out where to get the best stuff online. I'm going to show you guys live. And then the second part is developing those relationships. Now, the first part of every strategy is going to be sharpening the saw. That's why I call it this series, Sharpening the Sourcing Saw. Before you go out there and waste a whole bunch of time, sit at home, write down what your plan is going to be, and then execute. So let me show you guys how I'm going to approach this. The first thing I'm going to do is figure out what is near me. And that's important because this is the most immediate way to earn money in a sense that you can go out to the store, find a clearance item or thrift an item that's specific to your area, that's undervalued the most. That's available to everyone. I'm going to show you guys how to look at Facebook Marketplace, offer up, let go, and maybe your local neighborhood garage sale and look for things around you that's going to immediately flip into cash. So for this experiment, I personally only look for things that are $50 and over. But for this experiment, I'm going to go all the way down to $5 profit to show you guys just how straightforward it is to find items. I'm not going to say it's easy, but it's straightforward. So I'll tell you guys, in my area, I did some scouting before this call and I physically drove. So for many of you that are looking, you're going to find out that there's a lot of stores in a specific strip mall. You might find for example, a Salvation Army next to a Ross, next to a Marshalls, next to a Burlington Coat Factory, next to a Target, next to a Walmart, next to a Home Depot. This is all going to be in an area, especially if you live in a suburban area. These are going to dominate specific areas. So when you're looking at your route, you can actually hit 10, 15 stores in an hour if you have everything planned accordingly and you know what you're looking for. When you're just getting started, you don't really know. So for example, in my area, there are several bookstores. A bookstore is not a common place that people are going to source because bookstores aren't that common anymore. So if you look at the clearance areas, your goal is to be able to find a route, a honey hole route where only you know where you're going. You're looking at specific things. I'll tell you one thing that's on my list, and try not to copy me exactly because everyone that's listening to this that's lazy will just try and copy me and that'll make it not work. There's a lady in my mastermind group. I gave out what she sells and like 2 weeks later, she is suffering from what I call competition. What do I call this? I just made up a term. It's called competition inflation. Okay, so you have a product that's profitable and then all of a sudden it's not profitable because a bunch of people jumped onto the listing and tanked the price. So try not to copy exactly what I'm doing for this experiment because it won't be profitable by the time you try and copy me. So do it yourself, but with the same method. Now, I'm going to give you guys the exact number that you're going to aim for. You have to come up with it on your own. That's the number that's exact. For everyone, it's different. For me personally, I'm looking to source $500 in 2 hours. That's what I'm looking for when I'm looking for stuff online. In person, it takes a lot longer because you have to drive to each individual store. My expectation wouldn't be that high. So to give you guys a reference point, sorry, this is a lot of information. You guys might have to watch this twice. I'm looking to get people to the point where they can list 6 items an hour. Okay, so 6 items an hour. For me, I count everything in that, shipping, all of that stuff. But getting to the point where you can process 6 items an hour, that's every 10 minutes, you're going to be fine as far as reselling goes on the processing part. If you do FBA, you can literally do an item in 1 minute, right? It cuts down way back on it because you don't have to fulfill the item. But let's just back up for a second. If you can do a listing in 10 minutes, that's good enough on the processing side for now. And don't get discouraged if you're just getting started and it takes you an hour to list an item. That's okay. But just remember, to do this for a living, to have a skill of listing stuff, I recommend getting to the point where you can do at least 10 per hour. And I am going to take questions in just a second. It's taking a little bit of time. Okay. Oh, thank you for letting me know in the UK. It's already September 17th. So all good. This week at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, whatever time it is in a different country, that I'm going to be doing this live. So if you have any questions, throw them in here and I'll answer them at the end of my strategy. Okay. So you're going to make a list of stuff around you. One thing I'm going to focus on heavily for this experiment is the pet category. And these have nothing to do with the actual categories that I source in, but I want you guys to do 2 things. Make a folder on your Chrome browser or Safari or whatever you're browsing and name it however much money you want to profit. So for me, it's called Snipe $500 Daily. That's the name of my folder. And it's something that I do every single day. So I want to get in the habit, just like drinking water and sleeping, of sourcing, looking for new ideas. And once I have a fresh idea of what's going to sell, because this is always a moving target. Reselling is a moving target. If you're looking for something that's set, I recommend a job. If you're going to be an entrepreneur, the target is always moving. You've got to be adapted. So I want to be in the trenches looking for this every day. I want you to create a folder called Snipe X amount daily. That's your job. We're going to be putting items that you're looking for inside that folder every day to look at. So as an example, pet food is going to be something that I look at. The reason why I'm going to look at pet food is because it expires, and that gives you an opportunity to sell it, because that means for sure at every single pet store, stuff that's about to expire is going to be discounted. So I'm going to be looking for food or items that expire, trying to get them for 80, 90, 95% off and flipping them within that time frame. So I'm going to assume during this experiment that I don't have a lot of capital, because a lot of people who are starting have less than, I would consider less than 15 grand, not a lot of capital, because that's the amount I recommend you have minimum before you try doing this full time. And again, I don't recommend going full time. I recommend keeping your day job and doing reselling on the side. But since nobody wants to listen to me, if you want to quit your job, please have at least 15 grand. And the methodology behind that is, if you double your money every 3 months, right? So 90 days, 3 months sell through, you spend all 15 grand today, and in the next 90 days, you sell it for 45 grand. And you net 15 grand, that's 5 grand per month. That's like a reasonable average household income in the United States, right? That's assuming you could spend all 15 grand in one day on stuff that you would double your money. So you can see why now I don't recommend that you quit your job, because I would say half my audience has 15 grand or more to spend and the other half doesn't. So get that amount of capital. So now you're going to have an online folder, and then you're also going to have an in-person map. So what I have in front of me is a list of the 7 cities closest to me and what stores are there. What kind of grocery stores? I'm going to look at grocery stores. I'm going to look at Walmart's, Home Depot's, Burlington's, Ross, Target, Savers. I'm going to look at every single Dollar Tree, every single thrift store. Now, this is one list. This is the hunting list. Okay, this is where I'm going to go with a spear and look for home runs, right? The other list I'm making is the list of distributors and manufacturers and local businesses. I want to know what's around here, because that's where you start making money on your business. Okay, business meaning if you have a company that you're dealing with and they're like, hey, Justin, thank you for joining the live stream as you always do. You are looking for product. At the end of every season, I need to get rid of my product. Will you buy it every single quarter? Can I just call you and you'll take all the stuff for 90% off? But you have to buy all of it. And Justin might say, okay, what about 92% off? And you come to an agreement and they give you all the goods. In some extreme circumstances, they'll actually pay you to get rid of the stuff. And that's what happens usually with electronics recycling. When there's sensitive information and you need to have stuff shredded or deleted, they'll actually pay you to take the stuff away. And then not only do you get paid to take it away, you properly erase it. You need certain licenses. Now you can resell for a profit. Imagine getting paid for inventory that you can sell for a profit, right? So the business relationships are the way that you get rich, or the way that you get out of hunting every single day. If you get really good at hunting, that's okay. That means as long as you are able-bodied, you can go physically hunt. That's why I think in my measurement of reseller success, health is in what I factor. I factor your health, your family, your relationships, how much you're resting, how much you're saving. All that goes into how successful you are as a reseller to me, not just how much money you have. If you have a bunch of money, but you're unhealthy, and then something happens to you and you can't physically go to the auction, there goes your income, right? So everyone who's listening right now, please write this down. I can wait for you to get a pen and paper. Actually, I can't have to go. Sorry, it's a live stream. You have to learn the skill of sourcing profitable inventory online. Okay, so if you Google, what should I do with my life? Somebody, or a lot of people will recommend, what skills do you want in the next 5 years? What skills do you want to develop in the next 5 years? I'm telling you the number one source. Being able to find profitable inventory online. Robots are trying to replace that. But what robots have a really hard time with are pre-owned products. Okay, so that's difficult because think about how much information it's going to take to look at a pre-owned item that doesn't have a SKU and determine the market value. That's where you can come in and start crushing it and not get replaced by a robot. I have to shout out somebody who called me today for consulting. They said, Chris, I'm 48 years old. My job was just replaced by a robot. My entire team was disassembled, and I'm entering reselling full time, not by choice, but because I have to. So I have to make money right now. Show me what to do. So we're making two lists, same exact process I'm going through right now. I'm sharing with you one of all the local businesses that you may be able to get a relationship with. This is really important because businesses are more reliable than Goodwill. When you go into Goodwill, you don't know what you're going to find. If you have a relationship with a business and a contract, every single set period of time, they're going to give you goods to resell. This exists, and this is what all brick and mortars do. When you own a brick and mortar business, you call distributors and they provide goods to you. When you're a restaurant, you don't go hunting for the mushrooms in your mushroom omelet. You just call a food distributor and they deliver mushrooms to you, and then you make your omelet. Only under like a really unusual circumstance are you getting all the food by hand. That's going to require really, really high dollar amount price. I'm actually going to put an example of that because people always need to know. There's a restaurant called Kiko Nob Hill in San Francisco. The restaurant does between $40,000 and $80,000 a day revenue, and it's just two people, husband and wife. They do like almost $10 million a year in sales, just the two of them. And they, one by one, hunt every single ingredient. Okay, that's very unusual. You have to charge a lot of money in order to do that. That being said, most brick and mortars order stuff in to resell. So it's very important that you guys represent yourself like a business. This is the most powerful point I can give you guys. Distributors want to work with businesses. They don't want to work with you out of your garage. They want to work with an actual company. That's why this is not my term. I don't know where it came from. I am trying to be a click and mortar. So I want the brick and mortar space, which I'm looking at right now. That's what my wife wants me to do. She wants me to get a brick and mortar warehouse. She wants me the skill on top of being able to source online. She wants me to have the skill of liquidating goods. And she's like, and you have to basically earn $3,000 a week. That's the minimum. So just to give you guys an idea, my personal journey on my list is I have to source and sell $3,000 worth of profit a week. So I'm a little bit under the gun because that's what I'm giving up by being a reseller. So you guys, as you're building this list, think about what job you're not doing because you're reselling. That's critically important because you need to know your opportunity cost for what you're doing while working. Okay. So now we have this list of all the stores around. Literally write down every single store in the strip mall because as you're writing it down, you're going to start thinking about what you can get into. I would say one of the largest opportunities, in my opinion, is the grocery category. People don't talk about it as much online. I mean, some people do in Amazon, but these markets are local to you, and food has an expiration, which means there's always going to be an opportunity to get sales, to take advantage of sales that are like 90% off because they have to get rid of it or donate it. So this is huge. Also, when I go back to businesses again, I'm going to touch on that for 1 second. I'm going to be making a list of all the churches around me, all the donation centers, and working out a deal for specific products that they get that they cannot, that they get through donation and they can't work with. So I'm going to give you guys one more example. This is like a really gem-filled episode. So hopefully you guys are smashing the like button right now because this is some fire. Okay. So I just returned a pair of shoes, the DSW. This is on my route. DSW is Designer Shoe Warehouse. I believe that's the acronym. It's gigantic. At one point, DSW was one of the largest eBay sellers. I can't remember the store. Maybe somebody in the chat can put it in there. But they had multiple warehouses. This store was, Apparel Save. So if you guys can remember the store Apparel Save, let me know in the chat if you've heard of that store before. They were selling literally millions of products. It was awesome looking at the volume of the store, but it went out of business. What they were doing is liquidating all the returns from DSW. They literally had a separate company that was just selling all of the stuff on eBay. The store was Apparel Save. That store is now gone. They went out of business because they were selling stuff way too cheap. And again, it's probably cheaper to just write those goods off to somebody like Kurt in the chat right now. They would rather just give it to you for 90% off than opening up another division of their company and trying to sell on eBay. That store was nuts. They're selling like 4,000 or 5,000 items a day. Crazy volume, all shoes. Amazing. But again, business relationships is your fortune. This is kind of a fuzzy thing because I don't think people are that productive, and I'm trying to give realistic advice. So I don't want you guys to, Jim Rohn gives his advice, which is work full time to pay the bills and then work part time on your fortune. I'm not that optimistic about the people who are listening to my channel right now. I think it's very hard to work beyond 4 hours a day diligently on a project. So I'm going to recommend something different because this is my YouTube channel and I can do whatever I want. I recommend you do 2 hours of sourcing, no more than that. Okay. Because it's this tiring work. So 2 hours of hunting, going to the thrift stores, all the things I just described. The other 2 hours, I want you to focus on building business relationships. Okay, so start making a list right now on a notebook. It's going to cost you $1. Go to the store, be frugal. Don't buy a $12 notebook. It's not necessary. Jerry Seinfeld wrote every single of the 180 episodes on those yellow legal pads. Okay, so don't waste money on that. Spend a couple bucks, get a good notebook, start writing down a list of who you need to talk to at each company, what their position is, what their phone number and email is, and what the next step is. Eventually, that's going to be converted into a spreadsheet, either on Google Docs for free or Microsoft Excel, where you're figuring out who's in your local area, where can you build that unfair advantage, which is who wants to play fair? I don't want to play fair. I want a person to deliver perfect goods to me to resell. Also, one more thought here. This is really powerful. So again, I'm going to ask you guys to smash the like button. I'm not going to be unapologetic about it. Do it. Okay. I am now going to also go over this week my process for finding scouts. Okay. So Siyosa in the chat is saying that they want to be lazy. Let me show you how to take lazy to a next level. So I would like to have personally 3 scouts in my area looking for goods that I want, which is $50 and over. And I want to pay them 30 to 35% of what it sells for, including shipping. And this model is not unique. This is what Plato's Closet does, Buffalo Exchange does, and a lot of these FBA sellers that are dealing with professional buyers. When you're a professional buyer, you're going to ask for at least 1/3 of what it sells for being an expert. And so what those people are getting in exchange is they're going out with me to Target and let's say they're scanning all of the TVs and iPads and everything. They're going to say, Chris, you're going to make $100 profit on this item. I want 1/3 of that. Or it's selling for 100. I'm buying it for 10. I'm selling it to you for 33. I need to make that $23 difference. So this is another saying that I came up with, which is everything works at slow speed. Okay, this is really critical, meaning running a small company with 2 or 3 people who help you usually works. As long as those 2 or 3 people are adding profit to the bottom line, you're usually doing pretty good. So 2 or 3 people is a nice, comfortable place to run a resale business. When you start getting bigger than that, it starts getting a lot more complicated. And I know with 7 employees, I was not making twice as much. I was making like a little bit more than having 2 employees. I was generating a ridiculous amount of revenue, but after paying 5 extra people and correcting all the mistakes that they made from improper training, I had no business hiring 7 people at the same time. It was ridiculous. This is like I had Hustle at Home mom visit me. I had people in my bedroom listing. I had 2 people in my garage listing. I had James in the living room taking photographs. Like my whole house was full of people working, and I barely made more than when it was just my VA and James. So that's when so my point is, when you're moving slowly with a small team, you can move mountains. But once you start making it really complicated, your net at the end of the day is not that high. So what I'm recommending is sort of a balanced life where you have 2 or 3 helpers. Hopefully you're making between 100 and 300,000 net after tax, or I'm sorry, before self-employment tax. And that's like a really amazing place to be. And that's just basically becoming a ninja in your area. So during this call, Monday through Friday, I'm going to show you guys me writing ads on Craigslist, how to find these people. Hopefully I can get one of these people on live with me so I can explain to you guys what I'm trying to do. So the things I want them to do is I need them to have a car and I need them to have resale experience. I'm getting a lot of emails coming in, people asking me what to buy. That is actually the easy part. Once you start learning how to resell, the easy part is figuring out what to buy. The problem is, how do you get more of that supply? And I don't want to train people to figure out what to buy. That should be really obvious. When you go to a store, all the things that are selling well, that's what we want to buy. Okay, to be really blunt, we want to buy things that are already selling. The hard part of the hard part of business to me is making an item popular so people will buy it. It's the marketing part. That's why resellers, in my opinion, are already kind of lazy, because you're not doing the hard work. Somebody made Yeti really popular and really trendy so that they can justify charging $150 for a water bottle, which I paid 20% off or 25% off with this member coupon with this company called REI. And I was looking for something that I could use and resell for almost the same cost as what it retails for. This ended up being a failure. But my point is, I'm looking at all these different stores, looking at their different sales, looking at different products. And again, you want to sell what's already selling. So for my scout, I don't want to train that. If you have to ask me what's going to sell, I'm not going to hire you. I want people that already know what's popular, but they don't want to do the work. That's the person I'm looking for. James, my photographer turned thrifter, turned consultant. He already knows what to buy. I don't have to train him. He's just basically negotiating with me for how much I'm willing to pay for a specific item. So for James, he's a seasoned veteran now. He's not going to sell something to me for 50 that I'm going to sell for 150. He's going to ask for 80 because he knows that item is going to sell super quickly, and he's not going to accept that because he can just do it himself. So that's okay. I'm totally okay with that, because for me, the minimum profit per item is $20. So for you guys, you need to set a minimum profit margin for your items, and that comes from how much do you think your time is worth? Okay, so for me, I personally think my time is worth, realistically, what does the market say my time is worth? Probably between $100 and $125 an hour is what the market is yielding. When I ask people to pay me for coaching, that's about what I can get. If I was charging $500 an hour, nobody would sign up. If I was charging $50 an hour, my schedule would be full of coaching, right? So you got to figure out what your market is worth. So for me, I'm worth about $100 to $150 an hour in the market-wise for coaching. For reselling, I can easily train someone to do 10 items an hour. I personally, let's just say conservatively, I'm listing 10 items an hour at $20 profit. and I'm not doing any sourcing, meaning all the stuff is arriving to me ready to go. You can estimate your hourly worth at $200 an hour in that sense. Whereas an item's coming in, I'm not looking for it at all. That's so-called lazy. Even lazier would be items come in, you have somebody processing it, somebody else listing it and putting it away. If you want to be the ultimate lazy person, not do anything and sit on the beach and sip Mai Tais and just check your laptop a few times a day, it's not completely passive. Sorry, reselling is not like that. Then you would need a manager in place that does all of that for you, and then a bunch of scouts bringing you stuff. And I think personally, the people watching right now, most people are capable of having 2 or 3 different people helping them do that. Okay, so I'm going to summarize for you guys. The main key right now is we're creating a day job. Your day job is hunting for items, looking online, which I'll show you guys, and also looking in person. You're going to make a list of all the retail establishments around you. The bigger, the better, because the bigger will have more clearance sections. You're also going to make a list of the businesses around you that might be able to open up a deal business to business for you. You're also going to get a little notebook, like a little Post-it notebook. Put this in your pocket. When you walk around, you're going to write down stuff that you observe. If you are aware of where you are and are able to take advantage of small things, you're going to run into deals. You're going to run into home runs. And if you are aggressively pursuing businesses around you, this is the best way I can put it. You're going to run into like 10 grand profit once in a while. If you keep knocking on doors and you keep asking a chiropractor, hey, do you guys have any equipment that's outdated that you resell or donate? Can I work with you guys on that? Would you guys like to upgrade your equipment? Maybe I can pay you a small amount for what you have now and you can upgrade, whatever. If you keep doing that, you're going to run into a $10,000 deal, and that's going to bump you up to the next level. For me personally, I'm trying to only sell replenishable products. Okay, so this experiment is great because it's teaching me all the different sources and different niches that I might want to get into. And it's going to help you guys do the same thing. But I'm just training the skill because I know this is like powerful. If I know how to source stuff online and in person, I will never need to work for somebody else again. Okay, so for those of you looking for that type of freedom, this is the skill you need to learn. So I'm actually going to cut this information off here so I have more to talk about tomorrow. And I'm going to actually go to these stores and start searching online, show you guys live on a screen share tomorrow. But I'm going to start answering some questions because there's probably a lot of questions. Okay. What's up, Norway? Adam, thank you for chiming in from Boston. Let's see, you're contemplating freelance coaching. Nice. Let's see, you have your own route. Great. So James already has a route. That's important to me. I think everyone should, I'm really spoiled where I live, so it's going to depend on where you are. If you live in a place where you can't drive around and find stuff, you're going to have to disregard the part where you drive around and only do the online part. And if you have an internet connection, which you probably do because you're listening to this, just focus 100% of your effort online. Let's see. James is talking about gift cards. Nice. Avoid other items at a thrift store. Yes. Okay. How do you know which items to leave there at a thrift store? It's just practice. Okay. Like there's no easy way to answer that question. I'm going to do my best I've got some pretty cool equipment now. So hopefully I'll be able to go to the thrift store and show you guys how I filter through all the different items and pick something that I want to buy. But again, it's just going to be practice and familiarity. I just watched this hilarious segment with Casey Neistat being interviewed by Philip DeFranco. And he went to this restaurant and it says on the menu, real maple syrup with the pancakes, and it's a $13 pancake, right? So as it's coming over, he can see on the waiter's tray, he can see the maple syrup, and he knows immediately that it's not maple syrup. He's from New England. He's tapped it before. He knows what it smells like. He knows what it looks like when it's being poured, whatever. And he calls this restaurant out on it. And anyway, he knows right away from looking at it that it's not real maple syrup. I don't have to finish the story, but that's how good you need to be when you're sourcing for a specific product. You need to immediately pick up on stuff like that. Let's see here. What is the equivalent of a garage sale in the UK? I think it's called a boot sale. You're keeping your day job. It's hard being a mom, a full-time employee, and a reseller. I agree with you. But again, I think that having a kid is really important because right now there's not that many people having kids. So I think that what I'd like to do is give more credit to people who are having a kid. I don't even know if I'm going to have kids myself. I'm just saying that I think that that's important. I would like other people to have kids so that we don't have negative population problems, because I can see that already happening. And when I look at the workforce, it's older. So I want to inject some youngness into it. Scott, what's up? Thank you for congratulating on my marriage. What did I do different audio wise? I just this live stream equipment. Actually, I'm not streaming in high quality right now, so I don't know if you guys let me know. It's okay. It's streaming at 720, but the equipment I have can stream 4K. I actually don't know how to set that up. Maybe that's unnecessary because people wouldn't be able to watch it, but it's streaming right now at 720. Let me know how the audio is. Oh, car boot sales. Yeah. Pat, what's going on? Let's see. The flea market is another good source. That's a place that I go to. Pat needs to liquidate goods. So I just did that survey on my channel, and 40% of people said they have too many goods and no way to sell it. So just contact me. Let me know what you have. If you can manifest the goods, meaning let me know what you have, I can sell for you. There's enough people on my channel that will buy it immediately from you. Just manifest what you have. Or if you don't know how to do that, then let me know where you live. Give me your address and social security number too. Just kidding. Just let me know where you are so I can connect you with a local person and you can get rid of those goods. Because for me, I'm in that situation where I have plenty of goods to sell. So depending on where you live, you have different problems. You're setting aside time to study and research daily. Amazing. I personally, my schedule in the morning from 8 to 11 a.m. 8 till 9, I do bookkeeping and business stuff. Actually, being really specific, bookkeeping, and I do the hardest thing in my business first. So wake up, mastermind call, drive to a coffee shop, do the hardest thing in my business first. Then I do sourcing online and researching products until 11. Then I meet up with my assistant and we ship stuff till 3. Then I drop stuff off, come home, hopefully do a YouTube video, then cook something, then hang out with my wife, then go to sleep. That's what my days look like. And I would like to do that 6 days a week. Pat the Resource sources 100% online. Awesome. The reason why I source in person partially is because it's fun. So it's not efficient. Come on. Driving around versus buying stuff online. Let's see. Asha is doing recycling. Awesome. Ooh, this is crazy. So iMerch is doing 16 hours of sourcing Saturday and 12 hours Sunday. I love that. I love everything except for that you're eating fast food. Don't eat fast food. Fast food is going to make you unhealthy, which is worse than being poor, in my opinion. So just try your best to learn how to meal prep, because just for me, it's made a huge difference just cooking. Today, I had a grilled chicken salad. I grilled the chicken myself and it ended up costing $3 or $4 to make the salad. But the same salad in California costs like $30 when you buy it somewhere like at an actual restaurant, because you actually, and when I cook it, I know what the ingredients are in it and I feel amazing today. So I just think it's important to do that. What's up, Linda? Thank you for stopping by. Wow, you've watched every video. That I feel bad for you. Just try to watch my most recent videos that are better quality. I've been trying really hard to make this really dense information wise. So if you guys appreciate it, smash that like button. Okay. Asha is selling motherboards. Nice. You're in the middle of, you're in the sticks of Texas. If you're in the sticks of Texas, then you're not like me and have 200 stores next to you that you can thrift at or buy. In fact, in 5 minutes today, I wrote down 57 places I can source at off the top of my head without using Google. So that's just from me driving in my area and sort of scoping out what's going to happen. Another thing I really like is where I live, there is a West Elm Pottery Barn outlet. And it's awesome. Like the couches that are in my living room cost $3,600. And I bought it for $200 because they were missing the legs. So I got it, ordered the legs off of eBay for $20. There you go. that's cool to me. So I don't know how to do furniture arbitrage. I probably won't be able to do it, but maybe I could arbitrage the legs, right? That's something I learned from that little experiment. So I personally also have more time than most people. So I can run all these experiments. You guys just need to let me know what you want me to look at. Do I pay the scouts 30 to 33%? I'm going to pay them 30 to 33%, 30 to 35%, maybe even higher of what it sells for, including shipping. So in some cases, the scout's going to make more than me. But in exchange for that, I'm not actually going to have to go get it. Thrift Trader, what's up? If you pay for 8 hours of work and you only get 4 hours of hustle, that's true. So I think that's Jason. You can pay hourly plus a commission, but I think that would really only work with the FBA book scanners. And if people are going to book sales for you, or maybe they're going to the Nike Friends and Family, during a sale, I think it would be worth it to pay hourly plus commission. Not during a sale doesn't really work because there's no urgency. What's up, Linda? Yeah, Asha, there's a lot of people who sell for scrap here. Tons of scrap sellers. I don't know how that works, but it must be lucrative because real estate in California is very expensive. You've never sold any cowboy boots. Yeah, cowboy boots is awesome. It's going to be one of the replenishables that I research on this show this week. We're going to look at a Western boot seller that does $100,000 on one eBay listing, right? So all that listing every day stuff, this person never lists and does $100,000 per listing, right? So you don't have to list every day. That's not true. You only have to list every day if you sell garbage, right? And you need to keep the flow going. Otherwise, if you sell good stuff, you don't need to delist, relist, or do any of that nonsense. You can just list it right the first time and wait for it to sell. Hammer mill shake. I don't know what that is. Yeah, this is interesting. James is saying, when you're the first company to come out with technology, you're usually screwed. I agree with that. Right now, Kickstarter, all those companies are screwed. Like as soon as you come out with your idea, they're like trying to raise funds to put it together. By the time they release their product, somebody's already made it and made all the money related to that topic. It's really tough being a Kickstarter right now because of this exact technology is progressing so fast. Like you guys know fast fashion can be produced in 24 hours. Like how amazing is that? You're like on Fashion Week, you're Gucci, you come up with this amazing line. 24 hours later, it's for sale on somebody's Shopify store. That's bananas. Gina, what's up? Boots aren't as easy as you might think. Nothing is as easy as you think. Okay, this whole reselling thing is a moving target. It's not easy. In fact, the harder it is, the less people will compete with you. I thank you for the compliment. Connor is 13. Nice. Your mom is your employee. That is amazing. 13-year-old that his mom is his employee. That's happened more than a few times on my channel. I just interviewed Jackson. I think Jackson makes like 50 grand and he's 15. So maybe he makes more than that. That's amazing that, you know, there are kids that are making more than their parents. Their parents are working for them. And they're kind of like, forget homeschool. They're like self-schooling. You know, there's so much information now. It's kind of insane. How do we trade information? Wow, there's a lot of email or messages. Sorry. How can you contact me? Chris at dailyrefinement.com. You guys can email me at any time. Also, I'm going to plug my course real quick. My course is $70. If you guys buy it with half off code, thank you. All of my information that I go over has been condensed. It's really clean now on Teachable. So half off code makes it $35. That would really help me keep making this content. I don't want it to be too expensive because I want it to be accessible for most people, but most of reselling can be boiled down into that course that I made. It's like 13 videos on how to set everything up. Then it just comes down to sourcing. Let's see. You tried selling hot sauce? Hot sauce probably sells well. That's one of those grocery items I feel like if you get a connect on like Cholula, are you set for life? I mean, that's like hot sauce is going to sell for a long time. You don't source any more stuff comes to you. Congratulations. That's amazing. Daily refinement. Please note, when I say I want to be lazy, I work full time. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I kind of want to be lazy, but I'm also very motivated. And I think it's important to look at it this way. Um, Also, I found out that no one cares if you're doing well. So I'm just going to just talk about the struggle. When you start getting in the reselling and you're thinking about it long term, like you're thinking about putting money away, you start to realize how pointless consumerism when you sell stuff all day. I'm like completely unaffected by marketing. When I see stuff, I'm just like, that's just a $10 item with $50 of marketing on it. You'll start to recognize it right away. And the best way to tell is, what is the resale value? If it's like, let me give you an example. Gucci watches are really expensive, but they don't resell well. That's when you know the product sucks. It's only selling for $600 because it has the Gucci brand on it and nobody wants a pre-owned one. Then you know it's garbage. Once you start really getting into the nitty gritty of reselling, you start not being materialistic because you realize most stuff is just marketing. Let's see. Sorry, there's a lot of questions. What's up, Flip Your Dollar? Connor, you're awesome. What's up, Josh? Thank you for coming. Lots of Joshes always stopping by. What is better, auction or buy it now? Depends on the item. If it's rare, difficult to replace, I would do auction. If you need the capital back right away, auctions end at 86% of the value of fixed price. Just so most people listening, usually items sell for less money on auction unless they're really rare and not replaceable. There's the store Lux Swap, LUXEWSAP. They do $100,000 per month, 100% auctions, just husband and wife team. So they are the holy grail of online business, in my opinion, which is a click and mortar. They have a brick and mortar shop that stuff comes in and they sell it online. That's the future of business, in my opinion, because all these commercial buildings are not going away. They're just going to be warehouses for people who sell stuff online. Also, right now, retail space is going down in price, which should be an indicator for you guys that it's might be a good time to look at commercial space because it's getting cheaper. You want me to review your store in the UK? No problem. I do store reviews, patreon.com/daily refinement. I also want to bulk up my mastermind group. If you guys want to join, we do 22 calls a month for $100. That's the best value in the reselling game, period. It's really, really, really cheap. If you want to join, we meet every day at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you just join, you can still listen to the calls if you can't make the call, but that's really cheap. That's like $5 a day to learn and talk to other people who are doing the same things. I'm limiting that to only 50 people. And if you're in the UK, I do store reviews worldwide. It's $35. That's like insanely cheap. I'm just doing that because I'm going to post your video on YouTube and other people can watch me review your store. But again, that's one of those things I would not recommend for you guys. Don't trade your money for time. You'll run out of time. You can't do it that way. I like reviewing stores. So it's something that I do for fun, but also I get some heat for this. But while I'm reviewing people's stores, I'm taking notes of what sells well for them. And this is where people are like, Chris is either a jerk or really smart. He's basically getting paid to steal other people's ideas. Welcome to America. That is how this works. Okay. Online is where you need help. Awesome. I'm going to be doing a lot of screen share stuff in this whole week, looking for items online. And I'm going to give you guys that tip right now, which is pretty straightforward. If you look at the Fortune 100 or the Fortune 500, and then you compare that list with who is marketing the most, go on the Google and say who is marketing the most. Put in the chat who you guys think markets the most. I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Snapple, right? There's a company right now that spends the most money on marketing. Their name rhymes with Snapple, and their products are the easiest to resell. There are millions of Apple products nationwide for sale, iPads, even the keyboard, which I talked about in my previous videos, that's no longer a bolo because tons of people sell it now. But the keyboards, this little pad, what is this called? Whatever this pad is called, the touchpad, all of the Apple products, the iPads, the phones sell for crazy money. You need to be researching that because people are constantly upgrading. The iPhone 11 is coming out right now. There are tons of people getting rid of their 10 because they want to be the newest person. Do I have a person to join my system? Yeah, it's Daily Refinement. It's patreon.com/daily refinement, or the link in the description below gives you half off my course. You guys are saying the audio is good. Awesome. What would be a couple online sourcing suggestions? Okay, this is how I look at online. This is going to be awesome. So it depends on your category. I'm personally normally looking for items that are $50 and over. There's not that many categories that are like that. It's like vintage stuff. I'm now moving more towards new as I get more capital, but bikes, electronics, I would say start with bikes and electronics. Those are the big ones. So online, you're going to be looking at parts. I like to look at parts and supplies that frequently wear out. Tires, spokes, gears, whatever wears out is very common. Another thing that I was actually looking into is floor mats, right? And the way that I'm looking at this is, I'll give you guys an example. And each time I give an example, please be wary that by the time I tell you, it's probably not going to work. Here's an example. All-weather floor mats. People buy all-weather floor mats all the time, right? And the people who sell all-weather floor mats are usually car dealerships, and they're listing it at retail with their crazy software. So somebody works at a car dealership, they have a massive software, they press a button, all 100,000 of their items in their store get listed, basically at retail. So whatever the floor mats sell for, on the car that I'm researching right now, they sell for $118. This is $118 for the floor mats. Now, I know wholesale from being in the car business is about $40 to $50 on these floor mats. You can literally list the floor mats at $99 and start selling them right now. Take your resale license to the wholesale department of a dealership and order them one at a time. Pay $50 and then sell them for $100. Shipping is going to be a little bit expensive, but this is an example of online arbitrage for me. Looking on eBay for something like floor mats, which sell like crazy, especially the rubber ones, and just basically figuring out how to get that item. That would be an example of something that I'm going to look into live on this show, which is floor mats. The auto industry is massive. And again, things that wear out like floor mats. You're applying my advice about being more selective during sourcing. Great. And also, this is like, I don't know why this comment but hurt me, but like somebody put, take Chris's advice with a grain of salt. I'm like, what? Take everything on the internet with a grain of salt. Nothing I say is legit. In fact, somebody gave me like an interesting compliment, which was, I listen to Chris because it's a different flavor of the week and it helps trigger my mind to think about things in a different way. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give you guys a different flavor of the week so you guys can think about your own business in a different way so you can appreciate it. I'm not gospel. The video is fuzzy because I don't know how to use the manual focus. So somebody in the Bay Area who knows how to use equipment, please call me or email me and I'll pay you to help me learn how to use manual focus because I don't know how to do it. I have different lenses. This stuff is over my head. I can only do one thing at a time. So now the audio is okay. We'll fix the video later. What's up, California Flipper? You're in Modesto. Awesome. I figured since you're California Flipper. How do you trust the person to source for you? Easy. You don't pay them until they bring the stuff to you. Have I ever sourced successfully at an outlet mall? Not only have I been successful at an outlet mall, but two of the outlet giants that I know are willing to mentor me to do it. I'm not sure if I should do that because it's a lot of capital. The minimum is $100,000. So they basically what it is two of the largest outlet sellers that I know would allow me to go to the outlet and sell the exact same products that they are selling. So to give you guys an idea, every single outlet chain is usually owned by a parent company. I don't want to give away too much information because this guy is really nice to me. But these specific outlets are owned by a parent company. Malls are generally run by conglomerates, and they offer the same types of items in each outlet. So where I live, there are a lot of different outlet systems in California. What these two people recommended for me is, Chris, get $100,000, go to the outlet and buy the exact same stuff that's in our store, and we'll control the market together. We'll basically do some price fixing because now it'll be West Coast, East Coast, Central Coast, all three people selling the same stuff, and we can sort of manipulate the market. So that's interesting to me. So I don't know if I want to do that. It's a lot of capital and it's really, really low margins. But the one thing I can say is that the sell-through rate's really, really, really fast. Okay. Pay employees by the hour or per item. I would say per item, not per hour, unless you really trust the person, but that's going to take a while. Health should be everyone's number one. I agree with that. Trackstar is saying they don't eat meat and they get a lot of energy. I agree with that to a certain degree, in a sense that for me personally, eating less meat gives me more energy. I'm not willing to be 100% vegetarian yet, but if I eat something heavy like an 8-ounce steak, I'm done. Can't do anything. You got to see what a $3,600 couch looks like. WestElm.com. All their couches are over $3,000. So when we were furnishing this place, we were looking at outlets and warehouse stuff. My wife is good at finding stuff like that. We went to there. Every single piece of furniture there is a return, and all of them have something wrong with it. And that's where you guys come up. That's what I'm saying. I mean, some of the best advice I can give is stuff that's broken, that's expensive, gives you a chance to come up, right? This couch was $3,400 off because it was missing the legs. Okay, like we found 2 left end pieces. It's missing the chase. So the $3,600 is for the couch, and then the chase is like another $800. This one was missing the legs and the chase. What we did was we found 2 of the left pieces and put them together and pretended like the other left piece was a chase, and you wouldn't be able to tell unless you are familiar with the West Elm catalog, which most people are not. So we're totally cool with building our own furniture, but this is important. Expensive stuff that's broken is one of the best opportunities. What's up, Noel? Karen, what's up? Oh, I know, right? Karen is saying don't talk about Pottery Barn because she kills it. Karen's one of my favorite people. If you guys haven't checked out her channel, Lavender Clothesline, Karen's awesome. If I wasn't married and an older gentleman, an older distinguished gentleman, I would go after her. She's very nice. She's one of my favorite reseller people. How is married life? Married life is great. I think it's a lot easier because there are certain things you can't do as a married person. So it's making it easier for me to just stay focused. Also, she's not a no BS type of person. So, I have to limit my BS. She's not a no BS person. She's a limited BS person. So as long as I pay bills, I can do whatever I want. Let's see. Oh, we're also operating in the, so she has a career. So right now we're trying to figure out this is important. Maybe you guys can give me some feedback. We're trying to figure out when to have a kid. She is independent person. She wants to earn her own money. So in case something happens to me, she's good. When do you have a kid? I don't know. That's a good question. So that's something that we're considering because it's going to not derail her career, but kind of force her to take some time off. So I don't know if you guys have any advice with that. She's definitely younger than me, so she's got a little bit of time, but something to consider. Pat does everything good till canceled. Everything has to be good till canceled now, unless you do an auction. There's no more 30-day. Oh, Tommy is saying the microphone is in focus nicely. Great. That's great. I mean, you don't want to see my face anyway. Maybe I purposely did it. Low margins are where the big boys play. Usually that's the case. The reason is because let's say something is 6% margin. You as a newbie, are you really going to play in that market? Probably not. It's actually kind of less competitive in the low margin category because not a lot of people play there. They want to play in the mega home run category. So you're kind of by yourself selling in the low margin places. Andy is saying there's never a good time to have a kid. Yeah, maybe that's true. I know. So Karen is saying they bought a Pottery Barn couch for $500. The original cost is over $5,000. Like, there are people who are very creative. Right now, I see this seller on Craigslist that says, basically, they go to Pottery Barn right when they open, and they list everything in the store, this outlet, on Craigslist with free delivery, which is crazy, right? But they don't have any of the items in stock. So people that are looking are like, oh, how much? This couch is $5,000 on potterybarn.com and you're selling it for $1,200. That's amazing. And free delivery, done. And then, basically they're in the warehouse trying to fulfill these orders. And they're like, there's an orange soda stain on this. We got to get it off before we deliver it. I mean, it's crazy. It's like a really awesome hustle that you would earn a few $100s every single sale, but you've got to get there really early. You probably have somebody in the store constantly looking at inventory and one person delivering the furniture, because people don't know that that outlet exists, right? It's on a military base in Alameda. So if you guys are trying to steal my thunder, head over to Alameda, go to the military base, check out that Pottery Barn. Also, there's all the home decor stuff that I know nothing about. The curtains, I think they're called tapestries, the things that go on the wall, wallpaper, all the different widgets that people buy to make a house look like home. All that stuff is available there for dirt cheap. Most of it's broken, and that's really the reason why it sells for so much money. Yeah, Reezy is the bomb. Reezy's a good guy. And Reezy, I use he is the only reseller merch that I have. I have the Reezy Resells 40-ounce bottle numbered from him. He's the one that got me in the reselling. So if you guys haven't checked out Reezy's hustle, he's in the chat. Reezy Resells on everywhere on social media. What's the best way to make $100 per day? This is a great question. So the best way to make $100 a day is to focus on, I would say, 1 to 3 categories and go balls to the wall. So let's say, for example, you want to sell iPhones, right? You want to sell iPhones. Right now is a great time to get into it. You're going to have to look at the market. Right now, the iPhone 10 is going to dip in value because there's too many of them hitting the market. Now is the time to buy. Once the iPhone 11 craze kind of goes away, the iPhone 10 prices will recover a little bit. So depending on how much capital you have, I would say the easiest way to make $100 per day is one iPhone. That's probably the easiest way. Almost anyone right now, if you're just waiting online looking for the deals, there's somebody waiting to liquidate their iPhone right now. It wouldn't surprise me if you could find an iPhone 10 for $400, $500 right now, and it probably still sells for 7 or 8. So I would say the easiest way would be to flip a MacBook or an iPhone right now. If you have no capital, the easiest way to earn $100 a day would be hitting 10 thrift stores where you live or getting really good at thrifting online. This is deal hunting, where you're either deal hunting or you're relationship hunting. And I'm doing both in this experiment. I'm going to be reaching out. I'm going to be writing an ad. I'll write the ad tomorrow live. We'll write an ad live tomorrow on this show, tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific. We'll post it. And then Wednesday, I'll go over all the different candidates with you guys and we'll pick somebody. I'll meet up with that person and I'll hire somebody to go out with me. And I'll be like, look, you're probably unemployed because your job was replaced by a robot. Just meet me at my place. We'll go out. I'll go to 10 stores. I'll show you what I do for a living. As long as you have a car and you know how to buy stuff, you're hired, right? Get in the car. We'll go together. We'll drive around. And right now, I think that it's a really prime time to get somebody between the ages of 30 and 50 that their job was replaced. And they're looking for another job, not a career, a job. And snipe those people up, have them become your sourcer. I need 3 of those people. You bought a Star Wars Star Speeder for $5 and sold it for $65. Awesome. Would I consider arbitraging iPhones from eBay auctions and flipping them? Of course. The best way to do it, in my opinion, is not the auction, though, because too many people see it. The best way would be the people who accidentally list the buy it now price too low, in my opinion. So I would keep the search up. Another thing that I search for is Toyota Prius. In my area, I'm telling you guys to look for an unfair advantage. Where I live, 1 in 5 cars is a Toyota Prius. If you look Toyota Prius in my local area, there's like 500 of them available. If you look for a low mileage one that's underpriced with a clean title, even though there are millions of Priuses where I live, it narrows it down to like 20 cars. So I only need to look at 20 cars a day and lowball people on those 20 cars. And each car I make roughly $2,000. So I don't need to sell between $500 and $2,000, depending on who I'm buying it from. I only need to sell one of those per week to do pretty decent, but I look at them twice a day. I actually like looking at cars. So that green Prius that I had, I paid $9,000 for it. and I'm going to put it up for sale this week for 12, and I will take 11.7. That's another important thing to realize. You need to price yourself a little bit of room. And I personally don't want to price something ridiculously high. The market on it is probably 12. I'm going to ask 12 and I'll take 11.7. And I like that specific number. When the person says, how about 11,000 for it? I'm going to say, no, sorry, my bottom line is 11.7. I know the market value, and this car is a cream puff, is what we call it in the car business, because it's basically perfect. This lady drove 3,000 miles a year. The car is like brand new. It's awesome. It's a 2009 with 34,000 miles. It's awesome. Actually, I want to keep it for myself, but the color is mint green. I can't handle it. The color is mint green. It's the color of a mint mojito drink. It's terrible. You work for Amazon, and you should see the amount of packages that get damaged and canceled every day. Yes, this is crazy. If you guys want to start buying and reselling Amazon pallets, get into it right now, because it's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. There's so many packages that are damaged. And within 5 years, this is nuts. My friend Mike Olson was saying that there will be no people in Amazon warehouses within 5 years. That's bananas. Okay. Imagine if they also take over the trucking, how many jobs that is that are gone. I think this is my political rant for the day. I think you guys should learn how to live really frugally, because everyone's going to make less money. When this technology takes over, everyone's going to take a huge pay cut except for the rich people. What? So Karen is saying the easiest way to make $100 a day is start a YouTube channel. That is not true. It is so hard to make a profitable YouTube channel. Guys, 9% of YouTube channels get 95% of the views. That is horrible. And of those 9%, the average YouTuber's income is like 16 grand a year. Don't do it. Okay? Like, if you're going to do it, don't do it in reselling, because it's already super saturated. From when I started, the CPM is starting to slowly drop. And I have the most expensive demographic, which is stay-at-home moms that earn $50,000 or more. I have that demographic is who watches this channel. It still doesn't pay that well. I would recommend just a different category. I like YouTube, but just talk about something different. Where can I research more about pallets? So it depends on where you live. You can email me and give me your zip code, and I'll look and see if there's something in your area. But I'm going to be really disappointed if I Google your zip code and pallets, and the first 5 minutes I'm able to find somebody. That's going to make me really sad. So like, just type in your zip code and wholesale returns, pallets, salvage, liquidation into Google, and find out who in your area is doing it. And that's why I want you guys to make a list of what's around you, so that that works. What's up, Vasquez? 2 people who buy Amazon pallets. Yeah, a lot of people buy Amazon pallets, and it's only going to get bigger and more competitive. You're going to flip a car right now. Awesome. No, I mean, I'm not going to look up that zip code right now. You type that zip code into Google with the word pallet after it and do your own homework. Okay. Sorry to go on another rant, but like, if I was trying to be a plumber, I wouldn't email a plumber, how do I get started in plumbing? They don't have time to answer you. Like, they're plumbing. They're busy. Google how to become a plumber and look at the first 900 steps on how to become a plumber first. Then message the plumber, hey, I just got my plumbing certificate. What's the best way for me to get leads locally? I've already tried these 5 ways. What do you think? Then the plumber can actually give you good advice. I don't know. What is how do I resell for money? How do I even answer that? It's crazy. I'll tell you what, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out how to resell for profit for money. I know, right? I don't want the competition. I love YouTubers though. YouTubers are awesome. They're a fun bunch to be around. I like creators, to be honest, the most, because it's really hard. It's very, very hard. Mad respect if you're going to start a YouTube channel. If I could clone myself, what was the first task you would delegate? I would not clone myself. I would clone somebody who's more detail oriented. There's too many people like me with crazy ideas. I would like to clone engineer. Somebody who thinks about things thoroughly, like, okay, how do we solve this problem? Answer, solution, done. That's how I would approach it. Vasquez Vintage, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Yeah, Karen's got a great channel. She is also, if you're female, and so Karen has the full package because she actually knows what she's doing and she's female. That's a great way to do it. There's a lot more money in the category of, okay, so people like to do business with people like them. I am not a stay-at-home mom, right? I'm not that category. I'm also not in that situation. I just made a video talking about the things that I value, which is like being a good family person, high savings rate, all of that stuff. I'm not that demographic. I just like talking about it. If you were that demographic like Karen, then, and you do a good job, of course, your channel is going to be really big. So I just recommend it. If you are the demographic of stay-at-home mom, if you've had mom experience, you've had a kid before, you can actually relate. I always say, it's not that hard. Just put the 7 kids in the van and go. And then I get these emails like, Chris, you wouldn't even be able to get the kids in the car, let alone get them seatbelted and ready to go. They would be driving you crazy there's no way you could even do 1 kid. What are you talking about? 7 kids? But for me, I don't know. So I would just be making up what parenting is like. So I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah. So there's a lot of demographic. My demographic is 30 to 50-year-old women that are trying to make it all work. And I personally think that that's awesome because I think there needs to be more kids. I'm in that bucket of people, like everyone around me. No one's having any kids. I don't know. So where's the video that you're going to make about taking? I know. I don't know where I'm going to get those kids though. I need help though. First of all, I need an actual mom to film it. 1, for her viewing pleasure, and 2, in case an emergency happens, which it will, she'll actually know what to do. I won't know how to handle that. 43 with 4 kids, amazing. A lady just reached out who's 29 with 6 kids under 7. 29, 6 kids under 7. That's really efficient. I'm actually going to write that down because it's hard to. 29 with 6 kids under 7 years old. That is efficient. It was old. 6 kids under 7 years old. Yeah, that's a lot. That's basically being pregnant the whole time, if I'm not mistaken. How do I monitor efficiently for good flipping opportunities? Awesome question, Keith. I'm going to actually end it on this note. How do I know a good opportunity and how do I evaluate efficiency? Okay, here's the answer. Today, I went to DSW and there are 5 stores in a row. I'm not going to tell you what the stores are so you don't know where I was looking. 5 stores in a row that potentially have retail opportunities to flip, right? So what I did was today on my notebook, I wrote down how far it is to walk, how big the stores are. What I'm going to try and do is estimate how long it's going to take me to go through those stores. And this is how you establish it. It's how hard is it to replace the item? That's the answer to the question. How hard is it for you to replace the item that you're going to resell again? That's how you determine whether or not it's a good sourcing opportunity or not. If it's super easy to replace and profitable, spend all your time there, right? If it's really hard to source the item, then also don't give it away. Okay, this is like a huge issue with resellers. If you find an item that's worth $100 and you paid $10, that doesn't mean you should sell for $30 and double your money. No, if you can't replace it and it's worth $100, at least get 90. Wait, don't get impatient and take a lowball offer from somebody like me trying to snipe your item. Don't do that. I'm going to give you guys one last tip. Which is I know one of my friends makes a full-time living just selling stuff that he buys on Poshmark. So he's at $300,000 in sales on eBay. His only source is Poshmark. What he does is sit on his phone at work and lowball women selling their boyfriends or husbands stuff in bulk. So how this works is, guy has a, $80 jacket. she's selling it for $65. You can't lowball and say, how about $30? No one's going to accept that offer. It's way too low. But you can look at the whole closet and say, I'll give you $300 for all those men's pieces, because $300 is actually substantial. It's real money. It would be a way for that person to get a big chunk of change, get rid of the clothing, and it's actually worth it to give away their stuff. It's not worth it to give away one item at a time. This is a really good buying strategy. You have to let people earn a significant amount of money. Otherwise, why would they sell their stuff for super cheap? Like, these low ballers on Poshmark are doing it wrong. They're just making the person mad by lowballing them. That's not how you get inventory for super cheap. You get inventory super cheap by buying lots. That's like reselling 101. Yeah, there's a Discord group. I have a Discord group. It's on Patreon. It's $12 for life. You just pay for it one time. Go in there. Talk. The only reason I have it be $12 and not free is because there's just too many dickheads when it's free. I tried that. In the first day I did it, there was like 1,200 people that joined, and I spent a whole bunch of my time deleting people who suck. I don't want to do that. So for $12, no people who suck are willing to pay $12 to go in there and troll people, right? So it's just, yeah, it doesn't even, I don't even know how to explain that, but $12 one-time cost for the Discord group. What's my thoughts on sourcing at outlets? Outlets are awesome. You just need a lot of capital. It's expensive. You buy everything in bulk. Awesome. Most of the items in your store are one-of-a-kind, non-replaceable items. That's okay. And that's what I am actually going to end on. So I appreciate you guys. Smash the like button if you haven't already. But what I'm going to end on is, if you sell one-off, one-of-a-kind items, that's okay. I just consider what you do a job, which is totally fine. Nothing wrong with reselling as a job. It's one of the highest paying jobs. The issue is that building a career or a business that you can sell requires something that can be sold over and over and over again, right? I have a product. I have probably now 7 products that sell every month. Not every day though. So the goal of selling 10 by 10 by 10 is challenging. It takes a while to get there. And I'm in the used replenishable game. Okay, so I'm looking for items that are pre-owned. I'll give you guys one of them. It's a Zoom H6 recorder. So whoever's still listening right now, hopefully people don't share that. But it's a microphone device, right? And I look for them locally because there's a lot of stuff around here. Each time I get that, I add it to my listing. I don't have to relist it because I already have one listed. I come home, I test it to see if it works, make sure it's all working, and then I flip it. That's one of the things that I have that sells every single month. So I'm looking for a nice catalog of those items that I can just continue flipping, right? And ideally, the MSRP of the item is well over $100. That way, there's some room in there for people to get rid of it. Actually, surprisingly, I found a couple of these at pawn shops. So people who are musicians sometimes sell. I just find a lot of musician equipment at pawn shops. So I'm sorry, there's only really 2 pawn shops where I live. So at those pawn shops, I see a lot of musical instruments. Every time I pick up mixers and recorders pretty often, but this is stuff that you can find online because there's a lot of people starting podcasts and YouTube channels that fail. And again, would I recommend YouTube as an income stream? Not your main income stream. Do it for fun on the side. And then if you do it for fun on the side, it's going to be one of those things where it turns into income in the future. But I appreciate you guys. This is a really long episode. I need to get something to eat. I'll see you guys later. Take care.